Is yoga a capitalist plot? So this is kind of a half joking, half very serious video. I've been, I've done yoga I first did it 20 years ago, but of late I've been really immersing myself in the yoga world all over Europe, many different teachers, big studios in London, little ones here, been in Eastern Europe, Switzerland, all kinds, Amsterdam, all kinds of places. And also I'm politically aware. This is something, inequality, environmental destruction, war, these things matter to me. So obviously I'm looking at what's the connection. I think there's an increasing criticism of yoga becoming overly commercialised. So let's look at that. So how potentially might yoga, which is this lovely practice, and I love it, I do it daily, and it's a great thing, but how could that be problematic in the world today? And the main one I see is it could make modern life bearable. So yoga, and this also goes for mindfulness, makes modern life, which in some ways is stressful and unpleasant, and the average person at work is finding it very stressful. Yoga can make you cope with that, so it becomes a kind of coping mechanism. It becomes a Prozac. It becomes you take this little holiday from reality, maybe in the evening or before work, and that helps you get through rather than change something. Yeah. So yes, acceptance on a spiritual level is a very beautiful thing, but in terms of accepting the inequality or the stressful situations, the fact that your boss is an arsehole or whatever, if yoga helps us cope with that, it's actually reducing our ability to change the world for the better. Problematic, huh? Of course, there's another possibility that yoga provides us with enough sanity and strength that it becomes a base for social change. But if I'm honest, I don't often see that. Most of the people I see in the yoga world, not all, many of them, most even, are doing it for their own well-being, their own happiness, and that's, it's fine. But it's enabling them to be okay with things being fucked up. Yeah. Of course, we can also talk about the growing commodification of yoga itself. I think it's about £30 for a class up the Qatar kind of fascist oil state-owned Tower of Mordor in London. I know, yoga classes in London may be £15, £16 a class. That's pretty common. In Brighton, maybe 8 or 10, a bit cheaper. Europe, often sort of €15, something like that. Most of Western Europe. That prices a lot of people out. So we've got an access issue there as another issue. Okay. But what about if everyone did yoga? Well, let's say it wasn't an access issue, if it wasn't just becoming the domain of the elite to feel bad about to feel good about their privileged position. We can look at what does yoga actually promote? What does the practice promote? So it doesn't necessarily promote body awareness. Body awareness vital for empathy, vital for social change. We feel like when we feel ourselves, when we feel our emotions, we feel other people, we feel the homeless guy there, we feel the people we see on the news that are suffering in Syria or the latest place the Americans bombing, and we go, ow, that hurts, yeah? Now, good embodied practice will build that skill, so it will encourage us to do things which are kind and social for the environment and proactive for other people. However, a lot of yoga in the world today is discouraging people from feeling. Sounds strange, doesn't it? So how does it do that? Well, it's often a very intense form of yoga. Let's take a kind of Ashtanga, kind of hot yoga, those kind of practices, where you're not aware of the subtle emotional sensations. That's being overridden by the fact that your hamstrings are absolutely burning. Yeah. Even then, that might be overridden by the fact that you've got to obey the authority of the teacher because it's imported this guru model. So what it's teaching is to ignore your own body, despite the lip service that's sometimes paid to feel your body. Usually, the actual reality is the teacher saying, do what I say, do it by the numbers, hold this for a count of 10, do this posture in a certain way, do the form, ignore your own body's responses, ignore what your body's saying, copy the form, get your leg here, your arm here in this exact way. You're not feeling your body at all at that point, you're just trying to obey. So it's teaching conformity. It's not teaching any kind of social, kind of community aspects often, which are vital for social change. It's teaching individuals, the capitalist world relies on the isolated consumer who's just about well enough to keep buying products and performing at work. So is yoga helping with that? I think yoga in many ways now is part of that and is part of the problem. So is yoga a capitalist plot? Well, it could be a radical answer to many of the problems we see in the world today. That's my hope. I think there are ways to do that I'll go into in another video. However, now I would say yes, it is part of a capitalist plot.